All right, I think I made you guys wait long enough. How's everybody doing today? I'm just checking some stuff. I forgot to hit start broadcast right away. So I feel like there's going to be like an extra little delay today, which is going to kind of throw my game off. I apologize. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case. I'm checking things here. That's going to... Oh, no, it's not that bad. It's like maybe it's going to be like a 15-second delay. Definitely not terrible. All right. Nope. You could skip right ahead. No delay. We're all good. We're living the dream. How's everybody doing today? What's going on? Thank you guys for joining so early. I'm drinking a little bit of tea here because my voice has been wrecked ever since almost the Batman event in Seattle. So like whenever that was, my voice has been wrecked for like 3 weeks now. So what's going on, guys? Let's see who we got in here. A bunch of names that I don't immediately recognize. Hulo. I butcher everyone's name. Louis, Yuri. Let's see who else we got in here. Jiroke, and Mr. Anderson. What's up, Paul? What's going on, guys? Thanks for jumping in so quick. I really appreciate it. So you guys know how this stream goes. Pretty much basic every time. We have a topic, but the topic is bull. Look, I didn't even change it. Let's change it live. Let's break the stream. Boom. All right, there you go. So yeah, we have a topic. We stick on that topic for about 8 seconds. If you guys want to make sure I don't miss your question, at Mateo311, so it gets highlighted, and boom. How's the doggo? Doggo's doing good. Did you hear him? Actually, I'm going to post a video of him right after this. He hears me, so he's like, what the fuck's going on down there? Well, what's going on? He'll quiet down soon. Because I don't want you guys listening to a doggo the whole stream. Worst comes to worst, I'll just run upstairs real fast and let him out. And since he's out, he'll calm down. So we'll give him like 1 minute and see if he calms down. But anyway, guys, yeah, how we doing? If you want your question answered at Mateo311, it'll highlight it. I won't miss it. Felix, what's up for popping in? Cold Snail, what is up, man? Ahmed, hi. Thank you guys for all the for all the positive feedback, being here so soon, comments about the videos. Thank you guys, means a lot to me as always. All right. VR party peeps. Arlen, what's up, dude? What's going on, man? So as you guys know, or most of you guys know if you follow the channel, I've been everywhere lately. I was in 20 cities, 5 countries, and 69 places according to Google last month. That was Gamescom. That was Seattle for Batman. That was a little bit of my vacation, at the tail end of my vacation. So it's been a pretty wild ride for me. Yeah, and it's just getting started because in 2 weeks, I'm going out to another VR event, something I can't talk about just yet, but I'm going to 3 different places, and then it's MetaConnect. So I'm going to be at MetaConnect. I got my invite. I'll be there chilling with all the people again and, you know, losing my voice yet again. So how we doing? I do not. People ask me about, do you have any secret inside scoop on the future of Bone Lab? Stress level 0. No, I cannot say I don't. Q Creator, what's going on, man? What a good guy. Guys, go check out Q Creator. Nice guy. Hitman 3 is so bad. My video will be up tomorrow. So I actually just put it together. It's almost fully done. And my video will be up tomorrow. And I didn't spend a lot of time. I do my like must play VR games. That's my first impressions video. That's what's coming out tomorrow. So I played a couple games this week. I can tell you every game I played was better than Hitman. The problem with Hitman is that game should have never been ported to the Quest. Just that's it. I apologize, guys. 1 second. I'm just gonna let the dog out so we don't have to hear him yap. And I apologize. All right, you could see how thick I am when I get up and walk away. I have returned. Sorry, he thinks there's a party going on down here, and he's like, why am I locked up if there's a party going on in the basement? So let's see, where was I? Yeah, that game should never been ported, and I'm winded from running up the stairs. Oh man, I'm catching up on the comments. All right, let's see. It's so disappointing to have rushed, botched original VR mode for Hitman, then redo again years later and messed up again. It should have never been ported to the Quest. Like the original port, I think they said crap. We bit off, more than expected. Implementing the controls people expect is rough. The game was never made for that. So I think the original port, that was the problem. And now they're like, no, we'll start fresh. We know how to do this. We know how to implement these controls. Quest exclusive. Oh, wait. 40 people on the screen, 50, 100 characters on the screen at the same time. Oh, yeah. That just doesn't quite well work on the Quest. And now you have whole room of people just standing there. Low texture. And the clarity is shit. And they just stand there, no animations. And you're like, this is so immersion breaking. But video drops tomorrow. I'll discuss it. Yeah, so the thick comment was everyone, when I used to live stream, a year or so, 2 years ago, that was used to be like, oh, you're thick, which I just eventually started to embrace. I was like, yeah, I'll start my OnlyFans channel for you guys, which I never did. But anyway, maybe fit in some cardio in between chest and leg day. Oni, I am heavy these days. I'm really big. Partially that was due to mental health issues, medication. Medication made me gain about 40 pounds over the past 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. So yeah, I put on 40 pounds. Now I was very skinny when I started. So I was about $150 when I started. And 40 pounds from there doesn't make me tremendous, but I'm heavier than I should be for sure. So cardio is an emphasis, and that's something I can always talk about. I think my wife might be home. Now the dog's barking at my wife. I was just barking at the door. Someone went to the front door. It's always something. Anyway, but Hitman 3, I see so much stuff to do. What if all the activities make people overlook the jank? So, Ahmed, I kind of, in my video coming out tomorrow, I mentioned that. Like, Hitman 3 is still a good game. And if you have no other option to play it, maybe you want to try this. But this is definitively the worst version of it. It's ugly. The controls don't feel good. The performance isn't great. So, yeah. I can get past the jank. I can get past the graphic. Well, I get past the graphics for sure. The control jank, much harder to get past. And then when you go on from there, it's like, well, yeah, I played this game years ago, so no thanks. I put up a fake OnlyFans account a while ago as a joke, and there's nothing on it. So, and then I think like you had to, I don't know, I have to check a box or something when they change their terms of services. I never did, so they shut me down. Whatever. Is there any game coming out? What is going to be the new Zenith or Zenith? Zenith, it's pronounced. Not that I'm aware. Well, Elysia is in production. It's been in production forever. Like a year out when they were like, yeah, we're going to release soon. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, you got at least a year more to go. And I think it's been, a year since then. Elysia showed some promise. I like some aspects of it, but I don't know where it is right now. I really should talk to Alex VR because I think he works for them now. I think he does some of their promotional stuff. I saw the news that Fisherman Tales devs are making a single-player story shooter. Very cool to see. Those are some good devs. I mean, they really know, they know how to play with perspective, which is one of the things that always excites me in VR. It's one of the things unique to VR. Scale, perspective, all that stuff feels unique, feels great in VR. So they played with that. They've done a great job with that. So yeah, I'd be intrigued to see what they're doing. What does my dog think of VR now? I really haven't played in front of him. I don't let him down here anymore because he just gets into everything he shouldn't. He goes under the couch, behind the couch. He pulls out cables. He's still pretty small, so he's a little, I don't really let him down here anymore. Let's see. So don't lie. How many of you and your XR brothers and sisters said the line while you were pesting Batman, I am Batman? Well, Arlen, I will tell you, just about everyone said it, but I said I am Matman every time. I went, I'm Matman every time. No, I haven't tried Attack on Titan Unbreakable. We spoke about that last week. I was looking at it today in my library. I'm like, crap, I still need to try this. Confirmed to be too sexy for OnlyFans to keep him. That's right. No one's paying for my OnlyFans. What are you kidding me? I'm a beyond middle-aged man. Did you play Metro Awakening? Yes, I did. I played Metro Awakening. We are under embargo still, so we can't talk about it just yet. But I will have a video on that for sure. I was just talking about it today. I was just putting it together. I want the fall just shoot. I want it to fall just short of mainstream. More games like Arkham Shadow and never like Gotham. Okay, so I'm with you here. AAA rubbish. So there's different breeds of AAA these days. And, you know, a lot of AAA is kind of turned into cash grabs. That they're like, hey, listen, 50% of our game development is going to go into how do we monetize this game to hell? How do we make it addictive and monetize it? And I was so mad, like, when this became common in games. And I don't know if you guys watch Thor, Pirate Software on Twitch, but, you know, developer, he's worked as a hacker, blah, 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 blah. He always has a nice insight. And he talked about how he worked on, I think it was the first major expansion of StarCraft 2. He worked like overtime for 2 years. You know, these tons and tons of man hours and how many millions they spent on it. And the freaking like World of Warcraft first DLC horse made more money. So it's disgusting. So if you could just say, oh, DLC horse and make more money, everyone is going to take the easy road, especially in business. It just makes financial sense. So it kind of sucks to see things like that. But that's, you know, the industry really heavily, like EA, Electronic Arts, really, really heavily leaned into that. And it's definitely wrecked the overall industry. And there's been a reckoning lately. Like you'll see like non-AAA games like Space Marine 2. And they're like just bordering on AAA, but Space Marine 2 and Helldivers and a couple other games like that. I mean, Larian was not a AAA studio. Baldur's Gate 3. So there's a reckoning coming. So don't be too hard on AAA. But oh my God, Suicide Squad was trash. Would you think because VR is more niche that bigger teams have a very limited QA testing team? It's not even because it's niche. It's because there's not enough. Well, I mean, it all stems from size and player base. But when it comes down to it, that size and player base also equates to potential sales and potential profit. So yeah, you have to scale your project accordingly. And unless you're getting big bucks from Meta to do like exclusive titles that they don't even think they'll really make their money back. Like Asgard's Wrath 2, they gave away for free. So they don't really think they're making their money back on these titles. They're just using these titles to grow the industry. So it's pretty hard for studios to do big games still. And like a healthy budget is 15 million or less. And if you know anything about the gaming industry, that is not a lot. That is not a lot. So as VR grows, every aspect will grow, you know, in terms of game size and quality of testing and you name it. I mean, we had a couple years of people figuring out how to invent the wheel when it comes to VR. Like they didn't, you know, the basics no one knew how to do. And now we're kind of past that. A lot of people have the basics down and we are moving into like more solid stuff, but it's still niche and indie. Surprised Wanderer Fragments of Fate remake was not at Gamescom. You know what? That would have been a good title to be there for sure. You're right. I mean, but it is very expensive for a lot of these studios, so sometimes they decide it's not worth it. But I am excited for that game. I'm definitely excited for that game. The original was really good. Had some of its issues. Not for everybody, because I felt it was like a little bit too challenging and I'm too lost for some people. Puzzle games aren't for everybody. But beautiful graphics, like great storytelling, highly immersive. A lot of things to like. It leaned into VR. I'm down. DLC horse for Hitman 3. That's how they'll make their money back. God, speaking of that AAA reckoning, look at Concord, man. You know, $100 million to $200 million budget, supposedly, which is not unreasonable for a game of that size. Sony thought this was going to be their new IP, like their new title that they continue to make games in for years, like their God of War and Uncharted and stuff like that. And it crashed and burned so hard. Now, that's a discussion I don't want to get into, but yeah. All right. So the biggest thing holding back VR, lazy devs releasing half-half. No, I do not agree with you here. Okay. So here's the problem. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, as I said, my throat's still messed up. I have like a persistent cough when I try to sleep. I went to buy some Mucinex D, and a package of Mucinex was $35 freaking dollars. And I'm like, this is a generic mass-produced pill, and their entire budget just goes to, like, it probably takes them a cent to make that pill, and their budget goes to marketing with that mucus guy in commercials. And I'm paying $35 just to get a little bit of relief from this stupid throat crap I got going on. And $35? And I think about it. These developers took 2.5 years, and they're asking $20 for their game, and we shit all over them. Markets are crazy, man. But I think some of them don't know any better. Some of them are looking at the finances and like, we got to cut it. We got to release it. We got to make some money back before we can continue to keep working on our game. Some people just are not as talented as they think they are when they start the project, whatever the case may be. But I don't think they're lazy. I really don't think they're lazy. The amount of work that goes in to make little things feel right is insane. Like little things. Like when Half-Life Alyx was being made, one of the developers talked about how they spent like weeks on doors, just making sure doors felt right. Weeks. All right. My favorite games are Nexus, Bone Lab, Accounting Plus. Is Hitman 3 good as these? No, it's not. Hitman 3 is definitely not as good as any of those. What's one of the worst VR games you've played and remembered? So there was like a game that wanted to be Rock Band back in the day, which was called Rift XR. Rift VR, not to be confused with the new one. But this was very early, like 2016. And it actually had in the commercial the guy from Silicon Valley that they called Big Head. I don't know the actor's real name. But the game was terrible. Like, it was just like, controls didn't work right. There was no campaign. The catalog of songs sucked. It was a miss on like all cylinders. But I'm sure I've played worse than that. The whiplash of Concord flopping and Astro Boy coming out a few weeks later and being critically acclaimed already. Yeah, Astro should do well. I don't know. Mucinex is so expensive. It's just such bull. What's going on? Good evening, my dude. What's up, clueless dad gamer? Sounds like me. I'm clueless these days. I think more hybrid games, flat and VR like Resident Evil, well as better mechanics while playing and sitting need to make it more mainstream. I will agree that, I don't think VR, and people get annoyed when I say this, I don't think VR will ever overtake mainstream gaming. If it does, it'll only be in the aspect of that's the screen you're using rather than your TV. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people play video games to wind down, not jump around their room like an idiot, break a sweat. So I get it. Like there's a huge difference between playing Call of Duty on your Xbox and then playing a PvP shooter on VR. Playing a PvP shooter is like going down to the paintball rink, arena, whatever a paintball place is. Going down there and actually playing paintball feels a lot more like that. And that is not something you would consider doing every day. So I get it. I think some VR games, like if they could smoothly do the hybrid and you could transition to how you want to play when you want to play, that's great. I don't think that's worth it for most flat screen developers to look into. It doesn't really, like Resident Evil Village probably didn't make any money. Well, they got Sony money for porting their game. But without the Sony money, that wouldn't have been a profitable port. It wouldn't have been worth their time. Only a very small fraction of people who bought the game and tried it in VR. So it wouldn't have been worth their time and money to develop the VR aspect of it. So a lot of flat developers aren't going to pursue this. And if you make games and design them only for controller and VR, you kind of lose some of the magic of VR. So and it's hit or miss. But I am happy with what Flat the VR is doing. All right. I guess a better question is: Hitman 3 Reloaded actually worse than not being able to play it at all otherwise? Okay, David, I kind of mentioned this early on. If you have no other option of playing the game and you really want to play a Hitman style game, the game is still kind of fun, but it is the worst version of it, hands down. I mean, it's really hard to recommend. Between the immersion breaking graphics and the lack of animations and the still poor controls, it's rough. I learned yesterday a Ready Player One once licensed VR game was made. Seemed very random. I think it was one of those like mini games, like the Spider-Man experiences before like Spider-Man Homecoming came. If we want to talk technicalities, technically the game market and overtaking the game market, the mobile game market is the biggest profitable area in the flat screen. You're right, but those mobile games are just like making money off cramming ads down kids and want to talk about games that are half-assed money grabs. That's those mobile games are. Holy crap. I would hate to see VR turn into that. VR turns into that. I'm done. How long have you spent on Into the Radius 2? Minimal. I made the mistake of getting into the Radius 1 very early in development, and it kind of ruined the experience for me, and then I didn't try it again until it was done and released. So I'm gonna kind of do the same with Into the Radius 2. I kind of want to hold off and get a better first impression. So let's see. First Quest 3 exclusive in a year, and this terrible, such a shame, really shows limitations of standalone. Well, Quest 3, I don't know which direction you're taking that. Are you saying that it just sucks it took so long for a Quest 3 exclusive, or now look, Batman's the best that a Quest 3 can do? I don't know which way to take that statement. However, Meta would never let a Quest 3 exclusive out right out of the gates. They don't want to crap on the Quest 2 immediately. They were still getting some sales in the Quest 2. That's why we're going to have a cheaper entry point for the Quest 3 exclusives with the Quest 3S, which is basically confirmed. We're going to have a cheaper entry point for those Quest 3 games, and Batman is a solid title. So what does mainstream mean? It's another one of those terms. I mean, mainstream just, it's in the common populace. Like most people, if you said Meta or Facebook, they know what it is. Or you say Instagram or Twitter, they know what they are. They're mainstream. So when you say Quest, virtual reality, there's still a lot of question marks in people's head. There's still a lot of misunderstanding. It's not as generally well known. So it's not mainstream. When it becomes common to people that most people either use it or are just very aware of it, then it's mainstream. Okay. Let's see. Does PSVR 2 on PC have reprojection issues? I haven't tried mine on PC. I just really haven't been too interested to try. Okay, Felix, thank you, dude. Thank you, dude. I mean, you didn't have to become a member, but I appreciate that. This is a topic I wanted to bring up to you guys, but let me read your comment, then I'll jump back to the ones I missed. Which VR game has the best combat system you've experienced so far, and why? And what do you think about Quest 4? Okay. And also, thanks for all the videos. You're welcome. The videos will keep coming. I'm glad you enjoy them. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it. I don't have any member benefits, so I kind of feel bad. I was really I'm sorry. But thank you for being a believer. Now, best combat system, obviously one of them up there is Blade and Sorcery. I definitely like how they did what they did. You could go the exact opposite route. I still love, and I know people don't agree with me on this all the time, but Until You Fall, I really like what they did with the combat system there. It feels really cool. It's not physics-based, but it feels really cool, intuitive. It's a challenge. I really enjoy that. And then there's like the hybrid, which is Asgard's Wrath 2, which is not fully physics-based. Definitely not, because they needed some of the extra processing for the big worlds and everything going on. But it feels, it's convincing enough. So those are probably my top 3 when it comes to combat. And then the original Boneworks. Boneworks feels better than Bone Lab for sure, at least to me. And Boneworks felt great. Janky, still janky, but still felt great. All right, hopping back to Thomas's question. Do you think a Batman Arkham Shadow bundle with Quest 3 is a possibility? Would it be a good thing? I think it's a possibility, and I think it would definitely be a good thing. It would help sell headsets for sure. We have some nice looking titles coming now. Just more, please. I feel the quality. There's definitely quality games coming down. Bradley, my man, what is up, brother? What do you think Meta's program schedule for MetaConnect that they listed today? I haven't seen it. I've been in the gym. I took my dog for a walk. I put out a video. I haven't seen it. I got to check it. Would you like to fill us in? By the way, if you guys don't subscribe to Sadly, it's Bradley. You guys are fools. He is the coolest dude out there. He was my roommate at Gamescom, and I wouldn't have changed it for any other roommate in the world. Maybe I would have took my wife. Got a little freaky at night. But besides that, I couldn't get freaky with Bradley. He's just not into me. But anyway, this just went totally out in left field. Probably making Bradley blush a little bit. Nice. Anyway, I got to check it out. Maybe I'll bring it up in a second, see what's going on. And yeah, Bradley, thanks for hopping in, dude. It was great hanging out with you, getting to meet you for the first time in person. And I'm just going back to answering questions from my awesome chat here. Let's see. Hi there, good sir. Do you think going on the price of the Quest 3, we can expect that the Quest 4 to be over 1,000? No. I think, Mark, they're going to want to keep the price low. If they ever do anything expensive, it's going to be another Pro version, like a Quest Pro 2, which then the naming convention gets crappy. People are going to be like, but 3 is higher than 2, but this one says Pro, but what? So, and we don't, it kind of looks like they want to kill the Pro line because it really did terrible. But their whole game plan is keep it low priced, make it mainstream, add as much functionality as possible, give you a reason to pick one up, so that's their whole game plan. Let's see. Again, guys, if you're just jumping in, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I do my best to answer all the questions. The one thing I ask is just at Mateo311. Otherwise, there's a good chance I will miss your question, and I'm going to try and keep up. What are your thoughts about giving awesome, forgotten old DOS IPs like Day of the Tentacle a second life, rebuilt in VR? Hypothetically speaking, awesome. There's some really cool old school IPs out there that I would love to see come back to life immediately. I'd have to go real back into the recesses of my brain, but I'm sure there's some cool ass IPs that I used to love. Like what is that? The Toads game, Battletoads. Battletoads could be cool as shit if they remade Battletoads. You ever try Robo Recall? I love Robo Recall. The fact that there is no Robo Recall 2 pains me to this day. And they were like working on it, but I think obviously VR was still really small back then. Robo Recall probably didn't make much money at all, and they just didn't pursue it. But I gotta say, man, what's called it? Robo Recall is fantastic. I would have killed for a Robo Recall too. How much does Bradley snore? The last night I was there. Sorry, Bradley, but I'm sure I have a machine, so it doesn't make noise though. But I have a machine that for sleeping because I'm an old man. The last night I was there, Bradley did snore a little bit. Just the last night. It's the only time I heard him. Other than that, no, he doesn't snore. He's still a young boy. Has anyone got version 69 yet? I have access to version 69, but I have to force install it, and I haven't done it yet. Bradley must be busy. He didn't upload. Bradley does his own thing, man. He does whatever he wants. Any info on Index 2? Bradley's your guy for that. Valve is on Valve. Bradley, I still got this cough from Gamescom. Valve is on Valve time. Valve is still working on VR. They still play around with stuff. They're still interested when they want to make that. Right now they have a new game coming out. That's their focus. But when they want to make that transition, when they think it's the right time to drop it, what that headset includes or entails, anybody's game may or may never see the light of day. Let's see. Silent North and Grim were cool. Silent North, the demo we got, was extremely early. So it's like, hey, this is the world. And it's Daisy in VR. Graphically, it looked pretty cool. Nice, like, sky and stuff. But it very much felt and looked like Daisy in VR. And Grim was Rust on Mars. So, Mars Rust. What game would you recommend that is story campaign driven in first person with okay graphics? Medal of Honor is not worth $40 to me. I did not like Medal of Honor at all. The story doesn't get decently good until like halfway in. It feels like a weird mishmash of wanting to be serious, but then also feeling like Inglourious Bastards. It didn't do it for me at all. I would not recommend it. And it was buggy when it released. So let's see. Storyline, campaigns. Moss, book 1 and 2 are really cool. Great graphics. Puzzle platformer, that's fun. Wanderer, but the new one's coming out, so maybe you want to wait. Story-driven campaigns. Which ones, like, the stories really sucked me in? VR doesn't tend to focus the story much because story doesn't sell, unfortunately. That's one of the things that gets neglected the most. If something comes back to mind, I'll circle back. All right. What is the best VR mod that is better than the original flat screen version? Sam, I'm not the biggest mod guy. You know, I kind of feel like some games just weren't meant to be brought into VR. I definitely really enjoyed Deep Rock Galactic in VR. I don't know why. It kind of added something new to the game, but I was not a big Deep Rock Galactic guy beforehand. Firewatch, same type of thing. Not the perfect mod, but it kind of just makes that environment a bit eerier, and because it's a walking sim, so controls aren't as important. Arkaxer, Bear, you actually are digging deep into all of it. My voice is going out. I'm sorry, guys. Bear, you are digging deep into all of those like hidden gem games, and Arkaxer is very unique. Ton of content. Very solid game. What is holding back VR headsets? Too isolating, too bulky. VR won't take off until the interface is like a pair of glasses. Lou, that's something I mentioned in a recent video. I did like on this topic that, yeah, when we get like 5-10 years down the road where you can get the functionality of VR in something like a glasses form factor, then it's going to be mainstream. But at the same time, it's also going to need to be what they're aiming for is to replace the functionality of your phone. And I think they could do it. And I think they could also make it work in tandem with your phone, lend some processing power. But like I say, I have my Ray-Ban Meta glasses and they're fantastic for taking video, like live shots. Like when I take shots, I was training my dog today. I'm going to upload that later. Or when I'm playing with my kids, they're amazing. Like you have two hands free. You get the best, most natural shots and the quality is good. So honestly, as we move into that direction, it'll be more mainstream in general, the technology itself. Did you ever watch the anime, Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? I have not watched that. I watched Delicious in Dungeon, which sounds a bit different. Also saw the VR game Organ Quarter lately. That looks pretty cool. I'm not familiar with that one. Have you played Hitman VR? Just got back from playing it. It's okay. Harry, we were talking about it the whole beginning of this live stream. And I got to say, it's okay. I think it's a little bit of a stretch. The game itself is still good because Hitman 3 was a good game, but it's by far the worst version. Like, the performance is bad. The graphics are horrible. The controls still aren't that good. It's rough. Into the Black seems like Deep Rock Galactic style indie VR game. I got to check that out. Are there any open world RPG games like Skyrim and Fallout that aren't well known? No. Open world is another hard one for VR because that's mucho dinero to build. And we talked about VR budgets earlier, so that doesn't really happen. And, Fallout, I was actually thinking about getting back into Fallout. I never really enjoyed, I was a huge fan of Fallout 3. Fallout 4 kind of lost me. I didn't like the storyline at all. I feel like Bethesda just doesn't even try with storylines anymore. So I didn't like the storyline at all, and it kind of bored me, and it had tons of glitches. What else is new? So I was kind of thinking, like, do I really want to get into it? But if I could find some cool mods that add new content and stuff, I'll just kind of wander around the wasteland, maybe bring my cat VR down here and kind of use it for exercise too. I'm thinking about it. It's just, is it worth the effort? And I'm so busy. Yeah, Archaxer 2 has been in development for a while. It's funny. 2 times that I joined the QTC podcast, the 2 times I joined them, the development team for Archaxer happened to be on, like randomly. It's like, hey guys. So yeah, so they were talking about their second game in the works. Well, I think way back someone asked about my favorite workout game and I missed it. Just probably Supernatural was the one that I played for like 3-4 months straight. Lost a lot of weight doing it. Got in good shape. But it's subscription service and not available outside of America, so not for everybody. So after that would be Les Mills Body Combat. That's a good workout. Any tips for VR streamers, content creators trying to decide which games to play or any other device? Does VR perform well on Twitch? Did okay with Borderlands last year, but it's gotten stale. Okay. I feel like, well, at least in my experience, streaming VR games does not go well at all. It's not super fun to watch, especially if there's not like a good amount of motion smoothing. So you have to look into motion smoothing because the head movements and stuff are just terrible to watch. I personally hate watching people's VR content without motion smoothing. It's really rough, in my opinion. Twitch is a hard game to begin with anyway. Even YouTube, they're all hard to get started. You got to kind of find your angle. You got to find content you enjoy making and people enjoy watching. Now, they need a reason to watch. Are you entertaining? Are you informative? Are you whatever the case may be? But you got to stand out. And, you know, you got to find what's going to be your angle. And again, don't make it a superficial fake angle because then you have to be fake for your whole life. Just, you know, find something you like and the viewers also like, find your middle ground and pursue it and just get better over time. Best advice I could give quickly. Hey, Bear. So I caught up on your question. Supernatural worth the sub at all. Been doing Les Mills for months now. It depends. So my thing with Supernatural is it felt more like a game. So it was a lot easier for me to commit to it. Like I was waking up every morning. I turn it on for like 30 minutes. I do one of their routines. I liked all the music because it's a ton of licensed music. So it was easy for me to stick to it. And I didn't have to push myself and I didn't have to be like, oh, I don't want to do cardio. So, because cardio sucks. I like lifting weights, but cardio sucks. So, I mean, but it's hard for me to say, like, you know, my preferences for weight training are different than other people's. So maybe. Is Hellsweeper good? Hellsweeper was pretty cool. I didn't get into it much though, unfortunately. It had a lot of style and they've made some cool updates since then, but something about it just didn't keep me coming back. What's the most intense, fast feeling VR games you played? Like where you were moving super fast and overwhelmed. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think if anything is really like giving me a major rush, and nothing. I don't think anything really has. I mean, that stuff used to happen a little bit earlier in the VR days, like even very early, the gallery episodes 1 and 2. At the end of the gallery episode 1, you go through a portal and you're like going through like a black hole type of thing, or like hyperspeed. And I don't know why hyperspeed needed air quotes, but anyway, that was like pretty intense. But you lose like the invigoration of VR. So it's hard for me to say, was it really intense or was I just not used to VR? I don't know. You kind of get numbed down to everything, unfortunately, when you're in VR, like, you know, an hour or two every day. What up, Radio Run? Yo, yo, yo. The form factor is important, but also sly way to make sure the user doesn't get dizzy in the beginning. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really hard as someone who's been in the VR scene for so many years now that I'm always like, I think of it as, oh, we've played 1,000 shooters, and every shooter starts with, this is how you shoot, this is how you aim, this is how you crouch, this is how you vault. And it's like, yeah, we know these things, but for somebody, it's the first time they're ever seeing this shit. So you really got to go back to the basics every time. And yes, I will say that developers have made leaps and bounds with little tricks on how to keep people from like not feeling nauseous. And this just reminded me, we're talking about the exhilaration, probably Swarm is up there and type of movement speed and exhilaration and like, you know, going around crazy and feeling pretty hyped. Swarm is up there on that list. But jumping back, Swarm does a great, Swarm is a perfect example of how they just like really worked on making sure people don't get motion sick. So there is a way to do it right, but people need to start off slow. That's one thing. Like I think during like the Quest, like demo and stuff, when you first get a Quest and open up, I think they should tell you, hey, listen, some users may find VR too intense. You know, we recommend these applications and move on from there. Because people are going to just want to jump into like Batman. Now, personally, I felt zero motion sickness in Batman, but am I just too used to VR? I can't say. There's very few experiences that make me feel like slightly nauseous at all anymore. Mateo is the best looking content creator. I bet that's Chris. I don't even have to look at who typed that. No one can change my mind. There's a couple good looking dudes out there. You like my nipples sticking out? Nipples as well? Great. Okay. Controls aren't always quite standardized. I feel like that got so much better. Come on, look at the 2016 days where you had the Vive wands. They were like this big. They were clunky as hell. My hands used to hurt from gripping them. You didn't even have a stick because back then the mantra was never move the player. Can't move the player. That was the mantra back then. So yeah, those controllers sucked. Now we're doing much better. How do you feel of the recent trend VR devs this year use codes on social media to discount their game by like 90%? Max Mustard, Arkaxer, Chris Con. So I've seen this. They're just, you know, I don't really have any feelings about it. I mean, I think they're just doing a little. Anytime you do something that's like a limited time, you get someone's attention. You know, you artificial scarcity. So you get someone's, oh, do I want that? But it's 90% off. I want it. And then, you know, it's only like the first 10 people. And then after that, or the code only lasts for so long. And then after that, people are like, but I want it. I still want it, but it's not on sale now. And some people still buy it. So it's just a marketing ploy, and I'm fine with it. Batman will never come to PlayStation VR 2. It's a Oculus Studios exclusive. End of story. It's not coming to PlayStation VR 2. Meta doesn't care about PCVR anymore. Meta doesn't care about you know, maybe that'll change years down the road with like cloud gaming, but they don't care about PCVR anymore. They're definitely not going to give the game to Sony. They paid for this game to help promote the Quest 3. That's it. And, you know, it's coming out when it's coming out to get people jazzed up before the Christmas season, and then sell Quest 3 and Quest 3S this holiday. That's the game. Like they said, listen, we know camouflage. You guys can make a good superhero game. You did great with Iron Man. We'll throw you some extra money. We'll get you involved with Warner Brothers. You'll all work together, hold hands. We'll all be happy. You'll make a kick-ass Batman game, and we'll sell some headsets. That's Meta's approach. All right. Do you think Hitman 3 has potential to be a good game? Maybe they will update with bug fixes consistently. So there is an update. Yeah, you said there's an update coming out on the 9th. They sent me an email about that update. I think it could take a year of updates. I mean, that's how far off I think it is from being where it should be. A year of consistent updates. So maybe it'll be a good game in a year from now. But yeah, I don't know. it was not ready for release. That whole discussion of delay, it should have been delayed. It really should have been delayed. This is a horrible first impression. I mean, it was, people say, or people constantly, go, oh, well, it looks like PlayStation VR 2 graphics. This is the first game that I would say, yes, this is PlayStation VR 2 graphics. This is rough. It was wild to see Swarm 2 recently come to Steam. Yeah, they come to Steam much later. Like, they don't, and they don't even, like, make a big fuss about it. They just release it on Steam, like, as an afterthought, kind of. I've worked with Green Sky Games on numerous occasions. So, well, 2, but maybe a 3rd coming up. So, how beefy is your PC you're running these days? It is, I'm still only having 11th gen i9, but that's fine because we know the 13th and 14th gen are crap. But I do have a 4090 in there, so it's good enough. I mean, I'm getting the itch to upgrade it. I'll probably upgrade sometime in 2025. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Batman question. Is it possible for Gen Xers and millennials to read Batman material and not hear the voice, yes, of Kevin Conroy? Well, I will say it sucks that Kevin's gone. He really was a great Batman voice, but I will say the voice that they used for Batman Arkham Origins is the same voice, and this game takes place like right after Origins, so it's the same voice actor, and he does a great job. So it's not like when I played, what was that stupid ass game, The Walking Dead Onslaught by Servios. You had the real guy who voices Daryl, and then you had the worst ever Rick impersonator. He was terrible. I couldn't, like, my ears were bleeding listening to him. Just got a Quest 3. What's your top 5 single player exclusives? Oh, well, there's barely 5 exclusives, but you got to go Resident Evil 4 for sure. That's a very solid game. You got to go with Asgard's Wrath 2. Kick ass. Obviously, coming down the pipe is going to be Batman, which is going to be an amazing exclusive. What else is really exclusive to the Quest that you really got to play? I mean, from there, most games are multi-plat. I'm sure there's some that aren't coming to me immediately. The chat can probably fill you in. But, I mean, obviously, when it comes to exclusives, those are games you definitely got to play. Yeah, well, pretty much everything else is like multi-plat. Something comes to me, I'll circle back. Are there any games available on both PCVR and MetaQuest that you actually prefer to play on Quest over PC? Pushing away the convenience factor. Yeah, I mean, well, originally I would say Population 1. I liked it more on PC than on Quest. But now with a Quest 3 and stuff, it's like the same exact game. It's pretty crazy how close they got the versions. If it's something like, yeah, it would only be convenience factor. There was no, like, I would, except for the fact that I don't have to be tethered, and then it's just like way easier to, like, travel with the Quest or something like that. Pretty much everything else, excuse me, I would want to play on PC because, I got a beefy PC. I'm probably still going to use my Quest 3, but stream it from the PC. Assassin's Creed, that's another good one. Yeah. Assassin's Creed is definitely solid. Behemoth looks like Behemoth's going to be good. Since when is Quest 4 Quest exclusive? So you got the Quest 4 port. I mean, the VR port. And then there's the Quest 4 remake on PlayStation. They're different games, though. So if you want that original version in VR, it's Quest exclusive. How is No Man's Sky in VR? I never heard anyone really talk about it. It is very cool to experience in VR, but like performance has always been iffy. They add an update, it gets better. They add a new update, it gets worse. So it's always been like iffy across the board. And I feel like it's the type of game we were talking about earlier where you want to like switch back and forth from playing it hybrid and playing it in VR, because some things work really well, some things don't work super well in VR. But I'm only talking from early experience. Like, I don't know where it stands now. Like, I heard the PlayStation VR 2 version was beautiful, finally got it running well. Then I heard the recent update came out and it went to shit again. So this is me just playing it when I originally released on PCVR. What are your predictions for the Quest 4 with respects to hardware specifications? That's a hard one. I mean, they're just going to look at like the leading trends for what screens can be producible. You don't really need to push the screen resolution up much more. You probably still won't go with OLED because of the shortcomings, unless, you know, I know Samsung's working on much brighter OLED screens, but they're going to be new technology, so they're going to be pretty freaking expensive. You don't like combining OLED with pancake lenses. It's a bad combination. You need a really bright screen. That's why probably PlayStation VR 2 didn't go pancake lens. And then like the high, now there are OLED screens that aren't high, that don't have high persistence, but they're going to be more expensive, and the Quest is always about keeping the price down. So, and if you don't know, the high persistence is what causes issues that really bother me on the PlayStation VR 2. You get like strong ghosting effects and stuff like that. So in my opinion, it's not worth the brighter colors and contrast you get, because I notice the artifacts a lot more. But so predictions, I don't know. If a new chip comes out from from Qualcomm, they'll put the new chip in. They'll put a little bit more RAM in it. They'll increase the storage size a little bit more. They'll do whatever little tweaks they can to get the form factor down a little bit smaller and lighter. And that's it. Like there's not much more room to go. I can't imagine, unless they do like something like the Quest Pro Router again, I can't imagine much more to add or subtract, or like there's talk of the new eye trackers, which don't use cameras, that I forget what they use, IR emitters or whatever, that are like would be much more cost effective. Maybe that's something they pursue, but I don't know. Ever try Rogue Ascent? You know what? I jumped into that game like 5 times. Like, oh, I'm finally going to play this game and get into it. And I never do. So, sorry. All the reviews on Hitman 3 are bad. Yeah, and they should be. Felix, thanks for jumping in, becoming a member. I appreciate it, dude. It's personal. What's going on? We're just going on. Hello, you beautiful man. What's up, Mr. Grumpy Duck? How's life treating you? You know, it's been like 2.5 years since I met you in person. Do you believe that shit? That flew by, right? Mini LED for the Quest 4, maybe. Eye tracking and micro OLED. It could be. It kind of just comes down to where the hardware is, cost effectiveness, mass producibility. Those are going to be the factors. We should really look into technology that's coming out now, because the technology that makes its way into headsets is usually about 2 years old. Yeah, let's go ahead and refund that Hitman 3 VR, huh? Listen, dude, I mean, maybe if they keep updating it consistently, a year from now we got something, but it should not have been released how it is. That's right, dude. You got your engagement ring that day. Damn, son. So the engagement is coming to its end. You're going to be a married boy. Next step is kids. No more live streaming for you. If you guys don't know, check out Grumpy Duck. He's been live streaming. You still streaming like Fortnite on Twitch, on TikTok? I know you started doing some other stuff again, but just curious. What do you think about XR glasses and tech? Could it be used for gaming? So I have a pair of X-Real glasses, and I actually have the first generation, and I love them. Like, I use them every time I go traveling, every time I go on a flight. I plug them into my Steam Deck. I play my Steam Deck on a plane. I plug them into my phone. I watch a movie. They're super comfortable. The quality is fantastic. I'm dying for a new pair. I'm just not ready to spend the money. So, yeah, I love that tech, XR glasses. And I know Meta's pushing in that direction. You know, they just want to They just don't want to like shoot themselves in the foot. They want to make sure it's ready before they release something. They want to have something practical that's not niche, that's not for that's for general consumers, not like enthusiasts. So I'm actually really excited about that technology. Tons of applications, lots of cool stuff. Yeah, see, Grumpy, I thought you were back on YouTube. Glad to have you back, brother. Do you find VR movie watching is cool and worth doing, or more of a gimmick? For me personally, it's not worth it. If you see behind me, ta-da! I have a 4K projector on a massive screen. Hey, track me. Okay. So I have a 4K projector on a massive screen. And it's just a lot more comfortable. Like a lot of the headsets don't let you lean your head back. You have to go into laying mode. You only have like a 2+ hour battery life unless you have a battery attached to your headset. So it's a little less practical. It's a little gimmicky. Sound quality isn't as good. But if you don't have options, it's great. Like, I've used my Quest on a plane. I've used it to watch some stuff. I've used it to even play some games. And this was before they had travel mode. So when they shut the lights off on the plane, my tracking was lost and I couldn't use it anymore. But, it's a pretty good experience. It's just clunky and big to like pull out of a bag and, like, I don't know, because you don't have a lot of space on a plane. So something like the XR glasses is much better in that scenario. See, watching movies in VR chat is fire to me. Yeah, and like I said, like it really comes down to what your personal life is like, what other tools you have access to, how you live your life, your amount of downtime. For me, it's not super practical, and I kind of think I at this point have become more of a general consumer than an enthusiast. Like I'm definitely going to try things that the average person won't, but my enjoyment or what I'm looking for is now much more in that mainstream realm. And I think I can relate there better. Anyway, was Space Marine 2 at Gamescom. For 2 days, I was in the Home of XR booth, nonstop demoing stuff. I had demos from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. almost 2 days back to back. I saw like 20 something titles. Gamescom was the size of an airport. Okay. It was freaking tremendous. There could have been a whole section with a 1,000-person orgy and I would have missed it. Or, just a whole area where people are getting murdered and I would have missed it because that place was insanely huge. So if they were there, I have no idea. I will tell you that I will be playing Space Marine in a few days though. I'm not going to get it on Epic Games because screw them. And I'm not paying $100 for early access. So I will wait till it's on Steam in a few days and pick it up. Let's see. But when you come back to talking about watching movies in VR chat, I used to do some movies in big screen and that was always fun. I would just hang out in big screen and with a couple buddies and watch the movies. That has worked. Hitman sucks. Grumpy, we've been talking about it nonstop. It is definitively the worst version of the game, and it looks like calling it a PlayStation VR 2 game is like generous. It's rough. It runs poorly. It relies heavily on reprojection. I wanted to test it, but I didn't get around to it. But I almost guess it's like running at like 36 frames per second reprojected to 72. Hopefully it's at least 45 reprojected to 90, but my God, is it bad. The level of detail drop off is horrendous. Like when a guy's 10 feet out, he looks like a pixely blurry mess. At 5 feet, he looks better. And when up close, he looks normal, but it's so immersion breaking. And you have areas where there's supposed to be like 20, 30 people like dancing around a yacht. And they're all they're standing completely still. No one's moving. Low textures. It looks horrible. I would like to see more 3D drawing, modeling, standalone apps. I mean, I know there's a couple out there, but I never got into them because I can't draw for shit. So the Hitman game itself is, like the controls, they improved a bit, but they're still not great. And one of the things is like, since the performance is pretty bad, you get like collision issues. Like you'll like kind of like what would happen to me a little bit in Assassin's Creed Nexus. Like you'd stab a guy and get a stutter for a second, like little things like that. Or you miss because the tracking is so bad because it's reprojecting so many frames. Do you think hand tracking games will be the future? I enjoy Thrasher. Thrasher was a little bit of a miss for me because I was just expecting to go in so much more like the title that the other composer did. What was that? I want to say Wipeout, but it's not Wipeout. Well, Thumper. Thumper. So I went in expecting more of that, like high speed thrill. Thrasher kind of gives me anxiety. Like the music gives me anxiety and it was throwing me off. Grumpy, pick it up, do your 2-hour demo, see if you like it, and refund it before 2 hours. Investing in mainstream influencers. You think that's what Hero, you think that's what Meta needs to do in order to go mainstream? I don't know, because like there's been so many issues lately too with mainstream content creators, like let's say Star Wars Outlaws, and like the only people who said it was good were like flown out to Disney, and like I mean, I'm on the talk because I just recently started getting flown out to places. Like they did fly me out to test Batman, but I would have just been like, they probably shouldn't have flown me out if it was a bad game. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys, even if it hurts my relationships here and there along the way, I thought Batman was fantastic. I thought it was amazing. Again, I only played 45 minutes of it, but what I saw, I was really impressed, and what the developers told me kept me impressed. But yeah, anyway, like the people who were saying it was good all seem to be really well buttered up. A flight to Seattle and no other perks. That's a very long trip for me. And then it's a connecting flight. So like they ruined 2 days of my life just for me to get a 40-minute demo of Batman. So like, it's not like, I was well buttered up. Anyway, off topic. Let's see. I know Grumpy said something about Hitman, and I see, the response was probably Q3 limitations. I think it's like the type of game that should have never been ported to Quest. It just wasn't. It's definitely not suited for Quest port. Like too many characters on screen. They don't have the budget, the overhead, the graphical budget, the CPU budget for it. Nope. Are there any games you are looking forward to in 2025? I mean, I know Resolution Games is doing an official D&D game. When it's coming out, I don't know. But let's hope it's 2025, and I'm super pumped for that game. Patient 8 is doing Memoriam coming out in 2025. That was very promising. It's like a Dead Space, old school Doom mix-up. That was really good. I played that at Gamescom. Let's see. I see some Thrill of the Fight discussion. Thrill of the Fight was good. Batman or Behemoth? Right now, I'm leaning towards Batman. Different strokes for different folks, maybe. I think Batman's going to impress. If you enjoyed the Arkham series, if you're familiar with those older titles, the flat screen games, this is an Arkham game. In feel, in appearance, in the voice actors, in every aspect, this is an Arkham game. They managed to capture the pacing. Arkham Asylum was their like bread and butter. Anytime they were confused, like, oh, what do we do for this game? What do we do here? How should we, cut it up? Whatever. They looked at Arkham Asylum. So that was basically, their format, and they did an amazing job. The only aspect I have with that is I feel like the only thing new that I'm going to experience is the VR mechanics and the VR, point of view. The first person point of view and the VR mechanics. but the combat feels insanely close to Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. It feels really close to that. So how they did it is nothing but pure magic. I will say though, the game does have some bugs, and I don't think they have enough time to get them all out before the game releases. Do I think the bugs were game breaking? Not at all. Do I think they were immersion ruining? No. Would I deal with the bugs? Absolutely, and still love the game, unless they get worse past the point I was at. But I will say it seems really close to release, and I don't think it's gonna be 100% polished. I think it'll be good enough, but I think it could probably use a little bit more time in the oven. But Meta wants it out now. There was a World of Warcraft VR experience at Gamescom. It was pretty much like, I don't think they're bringing anything VR to, maybe they'll sell the experience or something, but I don't think they're bringing anything VR to World of Warcraft. This was more like, maybe it was just for promotion. I actually didn't have time to check it out. But if you've been to Disney and you went to the new Avatar section, they have like where you ride one of those creatures. It was kind of like that. So it was a VR experience rather than having like the 3D screen around you and everyone does it at once. It was one person with a VR helmet, but it's very similar to that. I have an Oculus Go, want to upgrade. Are there graphics in the new head settings going to make a noticeable difference from a Go? Oh, wait. You have an Oculus Rift OG. God, I read that backwards. All right. I'm just going to go back to here. I'm going to reset my brain for a second. The graphics are, well, see, here's the thing. Your Rift was attached to a PC. So you will notice things like much better clarity from the lens. You will notice a lot less glare. You will notice no screen door effect, or a lot less screen door effect. You'll notice hardware-wise significant improvement. And if you pair it with a PC, yeah, everything's going to look better, hands down, than an OG Rift. Now, when it comes to native games, if you're playing the game like something like a Batman, their brand new exclusive AAA budget title, will probably come close to a PCVR game. Close. But PCVR and mobile, they just can't. There's no competition. Thanks for answering my questions and being a bro. Last question from me. You can keep them coming. I talk as long as I can until my voice goes out. Are there any more or new news on PlayStation using backwards compatibility? I think if they were going to do it, they would have did it already. I think Sony is in hot water a lot lately, especially after this Concord massive failure. There's a lot of money to just blow up in your face. I think they pulled out of VR. Like, I've had a lot of developers tell me that they don't really care for VR. They don't see it as their future. They don't see themselves making a lot of money out of it. That's another reason why they kind of like produced the adapter. They knew people would, it might help buy some of their overstock of headsets. So, yeah. I don't think we're going to get compatibility, and I don't think we're going to see much out of PlayStation VR 2 in the future, unfortunately. Let's see. What kind of bugs are we talking about? I think that's more on the Hitman. Graphical anomalies, texture pop-in, poor performance, no animations. It's just ugly as sin. I'd like an MR, mixed reality AI cooking app that could scan my pantry fridge, aggregate the information, and give me real-time assisted meal creation. I think something like that is doable, a few years down the road for sure. Because, I'm starting to use all of those features like Meta AI and stuff actively. Like Meta AI I was playing with, took a picture of I said, "Hey Meta, what am I looking at?" And I was looking at my dog, and it said, "You're looking at a dog in front of flowers." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." I said, "What breed of a dog am I looking at?" And it said, "That's an Australian Shepherd dog." And I said, "Shit, you're right." Then I asked the age, and it was off on the age. But ultimately, it's pretty badass. And I think, yeah, something like that is expected years down. Again, Meta wants to replace or work really well in tandem with a device like this. They want to take a lot of the functionality, just move it away so that you don't have to be like this, and you can just see it up here, navigation in your eyeballs and instant translations, which I've used my phone. When I was in Germany last month, I had to use my phone a couple times for instant translations. I was doing laundry for people in our Airbnb, and Bradley came over, and I'm like, Bradley, I have no idea what anything on this dial says. And he's like, oh, let's do active translation. And I was able to see what everything on the dial meant, and I was able to wash my clothes. So we'll get there. Oh, the bugs in Batman. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about the bugs. I mean, I did a full like Q&A that I uploaded on the channel, like our but I don't think we really got into the bug discussion there. The bugs, like I said, so I did, in my first impressions video, I talked about the bugs. So like when you go from one area to another in Batman, like there's these doors that separate the area, and I'd usually get like a little bit of stuttering. So I'd get some frame stuttering. Now that game runs at native 72 frames per second. They said native frames way better than reprojection, and I'm with them. So yeah, so you get a little bit of frame stuttering when you transition from like a one area to the next. Now I will say every combat area, this is why it didn't bother me. Every time you were in combat, it was butter smooth. So there was no frame dropping in combat, so I'm fine there. But yeah, some of these areas where you move from like into an open area, you'd get some frame stutters. A couple people experienced like just getting stuck and had to, hit reload last checkpoint. Like that happened to me once. There's a wall you're supposed to punch through, and like it just didn't break, and I got stuck there. And I'm like, so I hit reload last checkpoint, and once I hit reload, I was broken through the wall. So there was like a few issues like that. Now again, I don't know if there's frame rate hitching in the cutscenes and stuff like that, because it ended right at the beginning of a cutscene for us. And if you look at the footage they uploaded, and they gave like the B-roll they gave to developers to show off, it cuts off all of these areas that I'm talking about. Like when you pull the lever and open a door into a new room, they don't show that. They cut there. So like, and they know these. I mean, listen, this is Meta's big product. They don't want to say anything bad about it. But with these minor issues, like I said, the game is still freaking awesome. Like I could deal with them all day long. Someone said, they gotta fix those as fast as possible. I was like, it didn't diminish my fun at all. It did not diminish my fun. Now, the only thing I would say is maybe you don't have VR legs and you don't have a strong stomach. That hitching could be a problem for new gamers, because it could make them go, Oh, Bradley's still here. People talking about Deadlock. I'm not familiar with Deadlock. I got to check it out. I'm pumped for Space Marine. 4 days out. I am going to be killing in the name of the Emperor, purging worlds of Xenos, and I'm going to be doing it with my brother, Eric for president, because we're supposed to. Like, it's the rule. I mean, we're going to be two masculine dudes swinging around power fists and chainsaws and bolter guns, and it's... Can you tell I'm a Warhammer 40k fan? I'm pumped for that game. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, guys. A lot going on. But again, if you have a direct question for me, just at Mateo311. So that's the best for me not to miss it. I try and keep up with the inter-conversations, but I can't. I just can't. I don't know. Like, so I don't watch other people's content because 2 reasons. 1, I don't want it to influence me. And 2, I just don't have time. Like, I would feel guilty if I watched just one person and not everybody. And like, so sometimes I'll watch something if I'm like, ooh, I'm curious if they share my opinion, or, just minor things. There are some occasions where I'll watch someone else's video, but in most cases, like, I'm going to be honest, I saw the bugs. I couldn't just not mention them, because personally, I don't think they can knock them all out before the game releases. It's just too close for me personally. Like, 2 months wasn't enough. 6 weeks, I think it was. So yeah, they only have like 4 weeks left. So yeah, it's tough. I'm sorry, I'm sniffling and coughing on the mic. But I don't know. I don't know if people did or didn't mention bugs. Can you do a deep dive into the lore of butts, the VR experience? Yeah, I did that last week. You missed it? Will Asgard's Wrath get any DLC? I don't think so, because right now what they're doing is all the cosmic events. They just keep doing more cosmic events for free. Kind of consider that DLC, but I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. Do you watch Asmongold or like Moist Critical outside of Eurofield? Yeah, occasionally. Like their shorts will pop up when I'm on YouTube. More Asmongold. I see his shorts constantly because I think he has some decent insight and he just calls it like it is. And yeah, he pisses people off and I'm 100% cool with that. Okay. The video got 1.5 million views. So you think that would be kind of video marketing working one, if not, yeah. I mean, one with 5 million views. I mean, listen, yeah, that's a way to make things public. Got Suicide Squad free from Amazon and still never played it. Yeah, I heard it was rough. What would be your your personal favorite channel from classic? Hold on. What would be your first? Okay, it's just cut off a little bit. What would be your personal favorite choice for classic board game being brought to MR? Obviously D&D, and Resolution Games is working on that. And I torture their. I'm friends with their PR person, so I torture her like every 2 months, and I'm like, hey, remember me for D&D. I was like, I'll do anything to be in that project. I'll be a voice actor. I'll be a beta tester. I will be a spokesperson. If it's good, of course. I don't want to be a spokesperson if it's good. But I want in. And then after that is Warhammer 40K. Those board games would be amazing. But Warhammer will never happen. Asgard's Wrath 2 never ends. Does Hitman VR... Sorry about the tweet. Okay. Does Hitman 3... not a good first impression? Definitely not a good first impression. Everyone keeps coming and going Hitman 3, and bad. It's bad. It got some issues. Roll trolling would be really cool in VR. That could work really well for sure. I'm not sure. It's very possible that Meta gave XR Games money to do that port, and if they did, they're gonna want their money back. See, that's where some of these deals go really, really sideways. Like you bring in someone, they say, "Oh yeah, we could do this." They somehow convince you, and then they get the money, and things don't go right. And now they're in a position of Meta doesn't want to give them another buck, but the game still probably needs another year of development to get it to where it needs to be. But Meta's not giving them any money. And it's like, well, it's coming out the way it is. We'll recoup some of our money, and then maybe we could keep working on it. That's what happens. Yeah, they're going to want their money back. They're not going to get it probably, but... Do you play other games like Tears of the Kingdom or Half-Life? I play everything, the Bomber. I play I am 40 plus years old. I don't know why. Like only in person do I ever say the exact number, but I'm approaching my mid 40s, and I have been playing video games my whole life. It's been a big part of my life. I love video games. And I have an Xbox, a Switch, a PlayStation, mainly for exclusives. Xbox sucks these days. A PC. For the majority of my life, I was just a PC guy. Consoles were too weak. I needed them more power. But there's just awesome exclusives that I don't want to miss out on, like God of War, Uncharted. It's a great series. I mean, now most of them come to PC, and you don't need it anyway. But to each their own. Regardless, I play everything. I've been a big RPG fan forever. Spent 120 hours in Baldur's Gate 3 with my buddy Eric for President. We did a full co-op playthrough. Right now I'm playing through Midnight Suns. I'm crawling through it. Pumped for Space Marine next week. So yeah, I mean, I did, like 60 hours in Helldivers 2. And I probably put an hour into like at least an hour into just about every new VR game release, because I just want to see what's out there. They're not like, a lot of them aren't my type. I don't like this. I don't like puzzles. I don't like sport game, whatever the case may be. I just want to know what's out there, see how it's progressing. So I usually try just about every single game that releases. Are there any Souls-like VR games? Not really. There's one called Grimlord, which is on PC, which is solid. It is definitely a Souls-like, and it's solid. But that's like the only one I can think of. What's your favorite gaming franchise? That's tough. Baldur's Gate is there for sure. I mean, I love the series 1, 2, and 3. I'm old enough to have played through, 1 and 2. Love them to death. They were my favorite game forever. Half-Life series is amongst my favorite. Played that, when it originally released. Fell in love. The original Half-Life absolutely blew my mind, and Half-Life 2 was even better. Mass Effect is another series I really, truly enjoyed. God of War series, the new one. The original's on PlayStation, not that good. The new ones that came out on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, Ragnarok and the God of War reboot, masterclass in game development and pacing. Yeah, I mean, I think we're hitting most of them. 42 next week. Gamer since Atari. Nice, Trevor. Wife and kids. How do you find the time to balance that life? It's tough. And my wife works a crazy amount. Sometimes she could do like a 60, 70 hour week. So lately I've been kind of like including my kid a little bit more. The family is playing. We are all now, the entire family is playing It Takes Two. So my 10-year-old and my wife switch off as one of the players, and I play as Cody. And we've been going through that now, so I involve them in it a little bit. Obviously, they're young, so they can't do VR much. But I've also involved them in a handful of videos here and there. I do have the entire day free to myself, but I do this for a living now. So, like, the VR gaming, I treat like a job. It's like, oh, got to get an hour or two of VR gaming in today as part of my job. The extra gaming is really just like, I'm not a person who stays up late anymore. I can't, because my kids are up at 6:37 and I need my sleep. I love to work out. My body can't handle it. So I'm the type of person who just schedules my gaming and says I'll ask my wife for 2 nights a week and be like, hey, can I play 2-3 hours at from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then I'll get and then I just do that consistently and I get my time in. And then my kids are at cheerleading practice or some gymnastics they do. So I'll bring my Switch and I'll play while they're in gymnastics. How many times can you watch them? I mean, they're getting pretty good. I watch them here and there, but come on, it's the same thing every week. So I'll bring my Switch and I'll play for that, hour or two when they're doing that. I'll fit it in where I could. You are right, Frank. Grimlord is exhausting though. What if Meta stops making its headset as a console and make it as a must-have experience, like how other devices make their products seem? That's the direction they're going. That's where they want to get to. But a lot of things, take time to get there. No, I'm playing It Takes Two on Xbox right now. So I have my Xbox Series X down here and one upstairs, my older one upstairs. And, we switch off between here and there. So, but no, I haven't tried it in UEVR. Alex vs. Batman Arkham Shadow. Ooh. So, So I will say that's a tough one. I think personally, it's going to come to, obviously the graphics in Half-Life Alyx are better. It's PC versus mobile. The graphics are better, but Batman Arkham Shadow is no slouch. It is a good looking VR game. It's not quite Red Matter 2, but it's close, very close. So it's no slouch in the graphics department. Definitely keeps the immersion up. There's more to like kind of do in Batman, and I haven't seen the story yet. So if Batman tells a really compelling story like Camouflage said it will, it might technically be in league with Half-Life Alyx, or even better for some people. Gundam is coming. A Gundam anime is coming to VR. I am actually excited for that. I never got into Gundam, but I am an anime fan. So this is where I tend to wrap it up, guys. It's been about 90 minutes. I talked about how my voice has been messed up since Gamescom, and I'm doing my best to let it heal. So I probably should cut it now that it's still not hurt. I should probably cut the stream, but I'll just say my general thank yous and stuff. I can't believe I get to do this as a living. If you guys are here and want to support the channel, easiest thing you can do is throw a thumbs up on this video, throw a thumbs up on any other videos of mine that you watch and like, leave a comment. I always love hearing your feedback. You know, huge for me. Thank you guys so much, honestly, for, you know, like this became my living. I spent the last month traveling for VR, and I'm going to do it later this month too. Guys, I'm living the dream. It's absolutely amazing, and it's only possible because of you guys. So like, you know, that's why I talk about things like, listen, you know, oh, being a shill, this and that. No, I'm going to do what is like most important to my community, because you guys make everything possible. So I definitely, you know, want to stay true to you guys, stay honest. This is why I do these streams, stay open and honest and answer any questions you may have. And you guys get a better understanding of who I am, rather than a, you know, 7-minute video where I push out some like aggressive opinions. So this is always fun. I always love these. It feels like, you know, a little bonding event. And I honestly feel like I fill up my social meter a little bit. Like, you know, some people need to interact with other people to get energized. Other people, it's the opposite. They see too many people and it just sucks the life out of them. I'm one of those people who needs to be around and talk to other people. And look, I'm in a basement all day long. So this actually is a saving grace for me too. So thank you guys. Thank you for everything. I will 100% keep doing these. And yeah, I mean, I do want to talk to you guys about, like, you know, some other directions I'm going to take my channel in, but it's a little late now. I'll try and remember it next time. But I definitely, you know, want to involve you guys more. Maybe some, you know, community game nights, whatever the case may be. There's a few things I want to do. But thank you guys. That was going to be today's stream. And for, you know, thank you for hanging out. And I will notice, let's see, no other questions. I think we closed it out. We're all good. Thank you guys. It's been fun. Yes, I'm at 81K. Thanks to you guys. Can't wait to hit 100,000. So help me make that possible. And I will see you guys on next time. Hey, thank you. What is that? Chronix? Thank you, dude. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Now, that's one thing we got to talk about. You guys got to come back. I'm going to be redoing the site soon, the stream soon. I got to update the graphics and all that jazz. But I really just want to say, like, if you guys have any suggestions of what I could do for members, you know, if any way, like, what I can get back to you guys. Because I don't know about member perks. I have none on my YouTube. I have some on Patreon, which are meh. So, like, if you guys can come up with some supporter or some member, you know, perks you guys would like to see, let me know. I'll add them in for you guys. Anything for you guys. I appreciate it. And that was it. This has been fun. I'm going to look for my end, and I'll talk to you guys later.